Welcome guys to a new series on Microsoft Excel. Today it's part 1. It's an introduction to spreadsheet. So what is a spreadsheet? A spreadsheet is an application designed for the manipulation of numbers. That can take a lot of different formats. For example, setting up budgets, creating profit and loss statements, analyzing sales figures, or any other type of calculations. A teacher, for example, uses an Excel spreadsheet to calculate marks. So basically a spreadsheet is we can manipulate numbers, do calculations. That's the main purpose of Excel. Now it can get a lot more complicated than that, but for grade 10 purposes, that's a basic definition of what a spreadsheet is. Then, because we've already used Microsoft Word, the question is, are there any similarities with Microsoft Word? And the simple answer is yes, very much so, because it is designed by the same people and it is designed to be in one office suite, which means that the interface is very similar. So the way that you save a document is very much the same as Microsoft Word. The way that you enter text into the document is the same. The formatting, making text bold. So all of that is very similar to Microsoft Word. So let's have a look at the interface. So over here I've got a Microsoft Excel workbook open. So workbook is the actual spreadsheet, and then a spreadsheet itself can have multiple workbooks, but I'm going to show you that just now when we look at some practical work when I actually open Excel. So you can see already here in the ribbon that we have very similar then to Word tabs, and then each tab has a ribbon with groups. So you can see this looks very familiar, the font group, alignment, etc., etc. So as we progress in our lessons on Excel, I will take you through all these tabs and I will teach you how to use most of its features. So just a couple of things that I want to highlight before we go over to some practical work is that a spreadsheet is made up of rows. So you can see here on the side they are numbered 1, 2, 3 all the way down 47,000 or so, and then we have columns which are identified with letters A, B, C all the way, and after it got to Z it starts with A, B, A, C, etc. all the way. I'm not even sure. There's a shortcut that we can test out later on that takes you to the furthest column in the lowest row. So this forms a grid. Now each cell has a unique address. So if I take, for example, this cell that I have my pointer in at the moment, let's say this one, E1. If I go to the second one, it will be B2. The one that is highlighted and that we call the active cell is the one that is currently selected and can be identified by a thick border. So you can see A1 has a thick border around it, and the address of that active cell is found in the cell name box, which is the one here on the top left corner of our worksheet. So here it says A1. So if you ever lost and you don't know which one is the active cell, you can simply select, and you can actually click on this one and it will take you to the cell. And then the contents of that active cell are actually displayed not only in the cell, but also in the formula bar. And the formula bar is this long area at the bottom of your ribbon. Okay, and then an Excel file, and I've said that already, mentioned that is called a workbook with worksheets, as many as you'd like. So you would have your workbook itself has to have a specific theme or topic. You cannot, mix and mash it. Or the question is not whether you can, you should not mix and match it. It's one theme or one topic, and then each worksheet can have, a different aspect of that topic. For example, as a teacher, I have a workbook for your marks. And I've got a worksheet in that workbook, term 1, another one term 2, term 3, term 4. So you can see it's related, but yet separate. Okay, so how do I open Excel? Okay, the icon for Excel looks like this. Sometimes it's saved, it's pinned to the taskbar, or, and I'm going to show you now, I'm going to click on, I'm actually going to take this off, and Excel is open, but I want to show you how you actually open it. So you can go and click on the Windows button, and the Windows Start tiles are coming up, and you can scroll down all the way to E for Excel. Another way is also to click on Start and to start typing Excel, and then you can press Enter and it will open Excel, or it is pinned to the taskbar and you can simply select the spreadsheet and open it in that way. All right, so how do we enter text? Very easy. I select, and I'll select someone here in the middle. So G9, you can see the active cell, I'm going to zoom in here, is displayed in the name box. And if it's selected and I just start typing, for example, this is G9, you can see the text is displayed in the cell, but as well as in the formula bar on the top. We can move around in the spreadsheet by either clicking on the cell that we want to select, or I can use the arrow keys to move my active cell around, and wherever the active cell is, I can start typing. You can see that the text actually goes over the line into another cell, although if I select C4, nothing is in C4. The text remains in B4. It just means that the cell is not big enough. So I will show later on different ways on how to make the cell bigger, but you can simply, if you go over into the top between A, B, and C, you can drag this bigger, or you can double click on it and then it will make the size or resize it to fit the contents of the cell. So that's very easy, and you can just play around. You can make text bold, so to highlight a cell, and I can make it bold, I can make it italic, I can change the font size to something different. You can see it jumped over the cell again, so I can double click, I can make it bigger. So all these are very similar to Word. So to save our Excel spreadsheet, we can move over and click on this little disk on top, or just as we did in Word, you could click on File, Save or Save As, and you can choose a location where to save. But just now when we do activity 2, I will actually save a document for you. So I'm going to remove all this nonsense that I've done here, and we move on. So right here in the bottom, we find our worksheet. If I want to add one, I can simply press on this plus, and I've got a second worksheet. If you want to change the name, you select it and you can right click on it and say rename. So I can call that, just as just now I said in my example, term 1. I can delete a sheet as well. Right click, delete. I can create more. I can copy a worksheet. So for example, I can type something in here, Thomas Schultz, because I love my name, and I can right click on it and say move or copy, and then I've got an option. Do I want to create a copy, or do I simply want to move this worksheet? So I'm going to create a copy, and I say OK. So it will create a copy, and you can see it's got exactly the same text. And now I can right click and rename it and say, for example, term 2. You can see that term 1 and term 2 is in the wrong order. So how do I get it from here to there? I can right click and say move or copy, and now I won't click create a copy. I just want to say I want to move it before sheet 3, and then it moves it around. Or the easier way is to actually select the worksheet and drag it into the position that I would like it to be. All right, I quickly want to do activity 1 with you. So if you don't mind to open the Valentine work sheet, or the spreadsheet, the workbook called Valentine. I've already opened it for us. So over here, it looks like this. Okay, the instructions are as follows. We have to click on different cells with the mouse. So over there, I can see now the text is displayed here, Brandon. You can see that some cells are larger, they are merged. So when we looked at tables in Word, we were able to merge, and later on I will show you how to do that in Excel. You can see that some of the text is written underneath each other. You can see some of this. If I click, for example, on the amount due, we don't see an amount in there. There's actually a formula in there. So this means that this field is a calculated field. So we're going to look at how to do that as well. So let's click on the letter C. If I click on here, it highlights the entire column. The same if I click on a row number, it will highlight the entire row. If I apply now format changes to this row, it will apply to all of the cells individually. Or yeah, if I can also select text by selecting a cell and dragging the mouse to how many cells I want to highlight. I can also select a cell and then hold Control and select another one and another one. Now I can select cells that are not adjacent to each other, that are not next to each other. Okay, they say I need to, point C, make the heading ticket cells for Valentine bold. So I can select this text and I simply click on bold, and voila. Number D said select all the cells in row 2. So I can highlight this that contain text. Oh, I've done too much. Only the cells that contain text. So we do it like this. Select the first one and drag it all the way to the side to all the way to F2. And then they say we must change the color of the background to a light pink. Now I'm colorblind, so I can't promise that I'm going to find a light pink. I don't know what this is. Okay, please, you know, that's definitely not light pink. But anyways, that's, if you select here the shading bucket, fill color, you can select the color that you want. And then they say we must save the spreadsheet, and that's it. Then activity 2 is all about entering data, and I've already covered that. So the activity that follows on that, and I'm going to do it with you as well. Just now I'll give you time to do activities on your own as well, but I just thought that this might actually help. So I will close this and open. I'm going to zoom out, it's going to make it easier. I'm going to open a new spreadsheet. This is actually the new one, so I'm going to delete all the text that I've entered and the worksheets that I've created. Term 2, delete. All right. So I've got a new worksheet, and the first thing that they say is save the spreadsheet using your name and surname as the file name. So what do? I click on File. I click, because it's the first time that we're saving the document, I can click on Save, and I can browse somewhere on this PC or browse. The dialog box comes up, and I'm somehow gonna save it onto the desktop. And they say I must give it my name and surname, and click on Save. Now I have to enter, and I want you to do this yourself as well. You have to enter your subjects and your marks for the first term. Now I do not have subjects, so I'm just going to make them up. English, Afrikaans, LO, Maths, IT, CAT, and Business Studies. Okay, then my first term mark, so over here, first term mark, and then here I'm going to have second term goal, that's the mark that I would like to, and then I've got an improvement. So over here I can enter my marks, so I'm very good, got 98 for English. Afrikaans I suck in, so I only got 52. Hello, easy peasy. Maths, yeah, that's easy. IT, because I teach it, and CAT I also get. Business Studies, that's a little bit more difficult, so I'm gonna give myself 64. I will make the cells a little bit bigger so that we can see actually the contents of the cell. Okay, now you are asked to enter marks that you would like to achieve. I've given myself such high marks, so maybe I must lower this a little bit, 85, and my goal is to get 90, which means the improvement is 5. Afrikaans, I would like to do better. I would like to get 75. So you can see, I mean, between 85 and 90 is easy to make that calculation. 52 and 75, it's 23. So that's also still very easy. I will still get 100% for LO. That's a 0 improvement. I want to get 99 for maths. That's 4. So these calculations are very easy. However, we can use functions or calculations, formulas, to do that calculations for me, and that will be in our second video in part 2, where I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so no improvement for CAT and IT, but for Business Studies I would like to have 70, so that's an improvement of 6. So just to show you how a formula would look like, I don't want you to do it yet, but for example here, it always starts with an equal sign, and I can simply select the cell that I want to do my calculation with, use a mathematical operator like minus sign, and select the other value that I want to do my calculation with, and press enter. And you can see here in the formula bar we have 5, and if I select this, I actually have a formula that does a calculation. It will still do the same result. And look, if I can do magic, I can copy this down, and now all of these cells have formulas in them as well. So don't worry about that, that's fine. So for now, I quickly want you to do activity 3, which is a simple matching columns A and B. There's a spreadsheet that you should open called activity 3, and you can just fill in your answer, which is then the memo for that question, and then we'll move over to formulas, but that will be another video. So see you in a bit.